Hey, if you're just joining us, good day, my friends. My name's Keith Allen from Material Indicators, and we are going to do our live tutorial here. Haven't done one in a little while, so we're excited about getting this thing underway here in just a minute. Today's topic is one that is coming to you by popular demand. We put a poll out on the community today, and you guys voted for what you wanted to go through today. So today, in our FireCharts CVD order flow tutorial, we're going to talk about how to interpret moves and trends with CVD order flow data in the FireCharts web app. Lots of new members and subscribers joining us over the holidays and through the holidays, and everybody kind of feeling their way around the tools, and some great conversations and education going on in our community, which everybody here probably is in. But if you're watching perhaps on YouTube or on Twitter, maybe you haven't joined us in our community yet, and I would encourage you to do so. We've got a phenomenal community on Telegram, and of course, if you follow us on Twitter at MI_algos, you can get the links and join us there. We will. I'll add links into the description here at the bottom. When this is all said and done, there'll be a recorded version available for you on YouTube. A little bit of housekeeping, of course. I am not a financial advisor, and neither is anybody in our company and anybody on our channels. Nothing that we say, do, or share should constitute financial advice for you. Trading is risky. I know we've got a lot of new traders with us in the channel, and I would just say this: risk management and capital management are your two most important keys to success. If you do not understand risk management and have not mastered it, or at least have a good grasp of it, I encourage you to take some time. There's lots and lots and lots of content available online to teach you risk management. Learn it before you execute your next trade. Trust me, it's going to help you in the long run. And of course, if you like the content here, please do us a favor: comment, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. We're a young company. We just launched actually September 30th, back in last year, back in 2020, and we have a growing community, global community, probably around 100 countries around the world represented. I haven't counted in a while, but last check, we were climbing pretty good. So I think we're probably near that at this stage. We are, of course, Material Indicators, and we hope that you like what you see here and that you will join us on this journey here. So let's get into it here. We're here to talk about FireCharts, and the FireCharts component comes with two features. It is an order book thermal map or heat map, whatever you'd like to call it, that identifies all the liquidity in the book, and visually gives you a visual representation of where the resistance and support are and what liquidity lies beneath and in between. And a CVD. For those who don't know what CVD means, that's cumulative volume delta. So let's go to a screen share and get to a FireChart. Here we go. This is the FireCharts web app. And as you can see, I have a BTC chart up right here. This would be the thermal map that we just discussed. And down here, the CVD. And I apologize, I can't see your questions at the moment while I'm on a screen share. So if you have them, I will pop back in and share and check on those questions here, before we're done with this. And of course, you can always reach me in our Telegram channel if you have other questions. So let's dive in here. And I am trying to monitor on Telegram on my tablet here next to me. So maybe I will just scroll down and make sure. Okay. There we go. All right. So today we're going to talk about CVD, the cumulative volume delta. And what is different about our CVD tool versus others you may have seen or worked with is that it is binned into order sizes. So you see all of these colors here, right? And the key for those and what those represent is here at the bottom. So blue is the cumulative sum of all orders. In fact, I'm going to take these out and I'm going to add them in one by one so you can see what's really here. All right, and as you can see, navigating this, you can turn off each range that you want. So orange, $100 to $1,000 orders. Green, $1,000 to $10,000 orders. Red, $10,000 to $100,000 orders. Then we start getting into whale size orders. Purple, $100,000 to $1 million, and brown whales, the mega whales we call them in the channel, $1 million to $10 million orders. And of course, blue is the cumulative of all of those. And that's something very, very important to understand. We'll get into that in a minute. Now, conventional wisdom tells us that in most cases, or in many cases, I should say, that the whales are driving price. And that may be true. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And whether you're looking at a short-term view or a long-term view has a big difference on how you want to interpret that data. So first, let's look here at the top of the window. You see 1D, we're on a daily chart here. So this is 24 hours, right? The last 24 hours. And we can expand that view. We can look at a week. And we can look even further back. We can go back as far as 3 years. Okay. Let's look at a year. And by the way, this is the first release of our tool, of this particular tool, and future iterations, you're going to see the thermal map populated all across the duration here. But notice here that the trend is clearly, in Bitcoin's case, being led by the whales and mega whales. But I don't want you to think that all of these other classes of traders were getting wrecked while whales and mega whales were buying, because that isn't necessarily the case. What can be happening in these instances is whales can disguise their orders. They can disguise themselves by breaking up their orders into smaller size orders, which, quite honestly, most of us do. Right? You place an order, whether it's a limit order or a market order, and many people use split TPs, split take profits, breaking up those orders along the way as they move up to higher targets. And so that can be happening a lot of the time. It can be profit taking along the way. Now, are there instances where retailers getting wrecked? Absolutely. But don't think that just because this is $100 order, this is $1,000 order, that it's exclusively retail, because it could very easily be whales and sharks breaking up their orders, taking profits along the way. Now, why would they do that? Well, when they're making these large market orders, whether it's a buy or a sell, they are trying to establish to the market, to the book, that, okay, big money's coming in, or inversely, big money is going out, because they want you to follow their trend. They want you to follow their move. Why would they do that? Well, they would sell big because they want price to go down so they can re-enter, or maybe short. They would buy big because they want to break out, and they want you to follow their breakout, and they want price to move up. Now, if they sold every time they were taking profits, then we'd be in a chop. The market would probably dump more frequently, and this way they can do it with less slippage, right? So they can sell, you can buy $1 million worth, but you could break that up into 10 orders and not have the kind of slippage you would have if you tried to dump your $1 million on an illiquid book. So in a nutshell, that's the difference between these different classes and why it's important to understand what they're doing. Now, for a swing trade, and this is a long-term trend here. So if you're swing trading or day trading, you're obviously more concerned with what's happening on the daily chart. And, what we see here on the order book is the resistance and the support. And we're in a nice range here. New resistance coming in here at the 34,760 range. And, so how do we get there? what happened? And let's look at the moves that we've had here, because Bitcoin has been on just an insane run, right? And by the way, you can zoom in and manipulate the chart and zoom into different areas if you want. Since we're looking at, well, I'll show you this one here, right? We can zoom into that, or if we, and it will take the order flow with it as well. We can return to normal. And we can also, if we wanted to highlight an area on the CVD, we could do the same thing and zoom in on that. We also have this price tag tool and a normalized CVD tool, and I'll show you why those are important here in a second. But first, let's talk about the moves that have been happening here. Okay, there was a ton of resistance here. This was about 50 million worth between this ladder order between like 34,300 and 34,600. Okay. So basically in the 34,500 range, we saw 50 million in resistance. And how did that get taken out? Well, it got taken out. And did it get taken out or did it get pulled? These are important questions to ask. So as you can see here, there was a major mega brown whale buy, had some support from other classes following it that took out this level. Now, how can we tell if that level was taken out and bought up or if it was pulled? And the answer to that is to look at the actual CVD, the actual value as opposed to the normalized value. The normalized value that we're looking at here, and you can see that because it says normalized here on the left-hand side, the normalized value makes it easier to identify the moves. The actual value allows you to see exactly how much money each class is putting in a trade. So here we go. We're now normalized, and you can tell, we're now at actual CVD because you can see it doesn't say normalized here on the left-hand side. And by using our tag tool, this is the data tag tool here on the right-hand side. By using our tag tool and hovering over any part of the chart, we can see the timestamp and exactly what the value is of these moves, right? So on the left-hand side, we have the scaling where you can see, the value at a glance, and you can zoom, expand, you can manipulate that any way that you like to make it easier for yourself. And we can see here that this brown whale, and I'm gonna click out the other classes to make it easier to isolate so that we can see exactly what that brown whale did. Okay, the value was at 5.6 million, and it went to 19. Okay, so that's a pretty significant move. 5 million to 19. So that means that roughly 14 million, actually almost went to 20, right? So let's say 15 million of that 50 million came from that one whale market buy. And again, the CVD, what we see up top is limit orders. What we see on the CVD is market orders. So that is one trade, 15 million out of that whale, taking that out. Now, it took more than that to get the rest of the 50 million. And you can see exactly what the other classes bought. You can hover over them individually and see what they did. Or you can just go to the blue line, which is the sum of all of the orders, right? That's the cumulative. That's the C in CVD. And look here. We went from negative territory, minus 1.2 million, up to 100 million. Okay. So that was eaten. That was eaten and then some. So that's how you can tell whether the order was pulled or whether it was paid for. And, that's a pretty remarkable tool. It helps you tell when there's been a rug pull. It helps you tell when the liquidity, when the buying pressure is real versus spoofed. So I find that to be a very, very important tool. Now I'm going to go back to the normalized view because that makes it much easier to identify what's happening. We're going to transition to a different chart in a second, but first, I want to just take a look here at the feed and see if we have any comments. It looks like we do, or questions. And Anonymous says, perfect. Well, I appreciate that, man. Or woman, whatever you are. If you guys have questions, this is a place that you can post them, and I'll try and address those during this. I also want to take a quick peek at the Telegram channel and see if we are getting questions there. Looks like we are. Hold on a second. All right. So lots of chatter going on in here that it's kind of difficult for me to follow while I'm doing this live. So I will follow up if you guys have questions in the channel. So now I want to address something which I think is a little bit of a misnomer, and that is we talk frequently about the whales and the mega whales moving the book, which typically they do, but they're not necessarily the driving force on every coin. And you need to analyze what's happening on each chart relative to the coin pairs that you're trading, or the assets that you're trading. I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So let me go back to a screen share, and let's look at another chart here. All right, so let's pull up. This one's been hot, I think. XLM. Okay, now this is XLM USDT. And if you look at this chart, and the first thing that I notice on the CVD is no brown whale activity. Okay, every chart or every coin pair doesn't necessarily have every class of buyer or every class of order size happening within it, largely due to the liquidity and what it can sustain. You know, if you start dealing with some of the shit coins, you're not even going to see a purple size whale. You're not going to see $1 million order very rarely, if ever. So, you know, again, we tend to think that the larger orders are driving everything, and that's not always the case. And what I like to do is look at the CVD here and on a normalized view and see how closely it matches the price line, and see which class of order matches the price line closest, or even the CVD closest, the cumulative volume closest. And by looking at this, and we're going to click out some orders here, and there are no megas in the mix. We're going to take out purple. We're going, and I'll show you why in a minute. We're going to take out red because look, right? We see a peak here, and everybody, followed that peak, and then it came down, and then it went up, and then it came down again, and then it went up. And what matches that closer? Is it the red shark size orders, or is it the green orders? And in this case, it looks like the green size orders, we're talking $1,000 to $10,000 orders, are almost hugging the cumulative volume perfectly. And they mimic the chart price line better, in my opinion, than anything else here. So on a day trade or a swing trading opportunity, I would be focusing on what this class of orders is doing for the way that I like trade. Let's see what that does on an expanded view. Let's go ahead and look at 26 weeks and see what's been happening with XLM. Okay. Now, in this instance, again, let's look at, typically we would say, you got to follow the whales. Let's swim with the whales. And that's something that a lot of us frequently like to do. Well, let's look at what the whales are doing, and let's see how that is reflected in a longer term view of the chart. Okay. Whales bought here. Little bump. Whales were flat for a while, and price went up. Whales bought here, and price came down. Now, That's why, and look at this trend, right? So then there was no whale activity for a long time and things dropped off. Whales came in and bought here, and that sparked some buying. They sold off at what was a perceived top. It came down, it recovered. All right. And now look at the recovery. Whales were selling, 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 and price was going up. So that's why I like to look at the chart. Now, you can see now at this point, whales are back in, right? Whales came back in here. They sold. We had a little dip, but the other classes bought it up. And now whales are going in deep. We're pushing up price. Why is that happening? This is related to the XRP debacle, it sounds like, but that's for another chat. But let's look at the other classes. Okay. Purple is out. Green is in, and look, exactly hugging the line. So this class of orders, and it may be whales just doing, smaller size orders so that they're not moving the book so much, but it's this class of orders that seems to be, in this instance, on this particular coin pair, most closely representative of what the order book, what the price action is doing. So I don't want you to get stuck in the habit of only looking at whale size orders, because the other classes matter as well. And that is exactly why they matter. So if you have got any other questions, I encourage you to send them now in the chat. Otherwise, you can catch us in the Telegram channel. If you have not joined us on Telegram yet, I certainly encourage you to do so. And of course, to follow us on Twitter. You can email us if you need to. And of course, you can get access to these charts and our other tools by heading over to our website at materialindicators.com. Really appreciate you guys watching. Again, if you like the content, please comment, like, and subscribe. We really appreciate it. If you want to get your hands on FireCharts, where you can look at pretty much any coin pair, any BTC coin pair, and any USDT coin pair on Binance, we're in the process of expanding that stuff, but you've got access to that and other tools on our website right now. So by all means, take a moment, check us out at materialindicators.com. Thanks again for watching. I got one more comment in here. Hey, yeah, I can look at ETH too real quick. We'll take a quick peek at ETH, and then we'll wrap it up here. So let's see. Let's go back to another chart. Share my screen. Now you can see the screen. I just can't manipulate it. So let's revisit that for a second, and I apologize for that, guys. So we're talking about ETH here on the fire chart, and we're looking at the CVD. Let me go back into into the screen. All right. So what we're talking about here is this whale order here, right? Big mega whale that bought up here and bought up here, did the breakout, bought the breakout, and, in this position right here, which was at roughly $1,100. You don't see another sell order that size. That doesn't mean that he didn't sell. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. And maybe he DCA'd from here and went up again. But as soon as he goes to profit, and again, when you're talking about an order that's this size, millions of dollars, you don't have to move very far to make money, right? And he doesn't necessarily want to reveal that he's in and he's out that fast, because there's going to be a lot of slippage. There's just not enough down here to sustain $1 million dump. So he could, as soon as he gets to profit after buying this breakout here, as soon as he's in profit here, he could be selling in any size class, right? He could be selling in, $1,000 orders. He could be selling in $5,000 or $10,000 chunks. He could be breaking it up and selling in any size that they want to disguise themselves from other traders and other institutions, and to minimize the slippage in the book. So even though we generally like to classify these smaller orders as retail size orders, they aren't necessarily retail traders. Okay. Remember, whales can disguise themselves as retail, but retail cannot disguise themselves as whales. That's an important thing to remember. Say that again. Whales can disguise themselves as retail, but retail cannot disguise themselves as whales. Simple as that. Well, I think that about gets it today. Sorry for the technical issues. It's been a while since I played with this app, and I got to dial myself back into it again. And I promise we're going to be doing some more of these. If you have more questions, you can reach me in our Telegram community. I'm there engaging every day and night, as is the rest of our team. We've got a great community there. If you have not joined us there yet, I encourage you to do so. And in fact, just real quickly, let me give you the contact info so you can find us. You can find us on Twitter at mialgos.com. You can find us on Telegram. And I will have the links into the description here and the recorded version on YouTube here shortly for you. Again, if you like the content, please comment, like, subscribe, and share it. We are a young and growing company, and we appreciate the support. If you'd like to get your hands on FireCharts, you can do so. Head over to materialindicators.com. You can find out about all of our products, find the ones that fit for you, join us in the community, learn more about it, and hopefully find something that works well for you. Thanks again for watching. My name's Keith Allen from Material Indicators. We will see you over in the Telegram community.